Hello everyone, welcome to episode 24 of the Drone Wars. Man, we've gone through a lot. So, looking at the current situation of all the factions here, well, we can see the Pirate Empire is currently the leading faction here. I believe Delta Shipyards is a close second, and then the Federation is right behind that. We can see that the New Galactic Alliance is expanding, which is great for them. They are kind of getting back on their feet, getting a lot larger, so that's going to be very helpful for them. I have a little bit of a cough, so sorry about that. The Great Red Sun Empire, they have been shrinking because of their attacks from multiple sides. So we'll see how the dynamics of this whole faction thing is going in this episode. Now we're going to start with the New Galactic Alliance and see what they're up to. Alright, so right off the bat, well, the Alliance decided to do two things. The first thing they decided to do is just to build another fleet here at their new shipyard. They do need to defend that area since they're surrounded entirely by Federation forces here, so it's best for them to really protect that as best they can. And, well, over here, they've decided they're going to go ahead and jump into a combat situation. They had two fleets here, and they decided to send one of them over here to the Trident Mountains. This planet has been fought over so many times. And well, here you can see they're fighting against one unstoppable fleet with another round of corvettes. They're hoping to at least take down one of the ships. I know they tried this over and over, but hopefully they can take down one of the ships. We'll see if that is possible in this upcoming battle here. Alright, we're here on Triton, and we have our two fleets here. We have the Alliance fleet with their corvettes. A lot of strike corvettes here, hoping to do as much damage in a short amount of time. And over here we have the Federation fleet, which is significantly larger. Am I missing a fighter over here? Kind of looks like I'm missing one. Oh, the small one right here. That should be all the fighters. There we go. And then there's one extra fighter there, so that should be all the ships here. This is take two of this battle, considering that I didn't realize that Weapon Core actually retired today, so I need to get a different version of Weapon Core in order for this to work. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin this battle and see who wins. So now all the weapons here should be functional. Small collision there, but the ships seem to be alright. There's a lot of movement over here. These corvettes need to fire as many of those missiles as they can to distract all that fire coming in. You can see these corvettes are now becoming the target of all these fighters. long-range railgun shots are doing a lot of damage to this Corvette. It is doing a good job at dodging all the artillery, but I don't know if it's going to last it too long. Alright, I think that Corvette's about done for. It is just being torn to shreds on the way down. Oh, absolutely, it is done for. Looking at the rest of the ships here, there are plenty of fighters. We can see the carrier and the battleship are still operational. Should have the other carrier all the way up there, and it appears that the Federation's Corvette is also still functional. So the Federation has taken no losses from that whatsoever. They just shrugged off that attack. So we'll go ahead and clean up here, and we're going to go back to the board and update it. Alright, so now we're back from that battle. So, well, the Alliance completely failed to take over that world. And, well, they decided, well, if we can't take over that world, we might as well expand over here. So they took their fleet that was just hanging out over here in the Salos Canyons, and they moved it down to the Mars snowfields down here. You know, taking more worlds from the Federation from underneath their noses. So that gives the Alliance a bit more of expansion here, which is great. They're taking over the middle, which is useful for them. I mean, that puts them directly in the line of sights of the Hard Empire, but other than that, they're doing fairly well. Now, looking at the Federation decided they're going to do a few things. Well, I believe the first thing that they've done, I'm trying to remember exactly what they did because they had 5 fleets. Their first action was to take over this world up here. So they moved their very powerful fleet from Triton and moved it up here to the Titan Dunes. And they kind of just want to make sure they have more of a presence up here so they can push down on the Alliance and really just prevent them from going around. So there's that. Then their second action is basically to attack Delta shipyards. They've taken their fleet from the Taralis Ocean, moved it over to the left of the Alien Mountains, and they've basically cut off the Delta shipyard fleets over here, off from the rest of the Empire over here. So these fleets are completely on their own over here. So far it looks like the Federation is really trying to focus in this corner here. They're going to probably surround that. And then the third action that the Federation is going to do, well, they're taking their fleet that was over here on the Titan Lake, and they're actually going to move it down here to try to attack the Reach Ocean here, which is a fortress world. It's going to be interesting having a battle directly on the ocean here. If they win this, then they'll actually be able to separate this shipyard off from the rest of the Great Redstone Empire, which is not great for the Great Redstone Empire at all. But we're going to see how this battle goes. Well, here we are. We're on Reach in the ocean. Specifically here, there's a fortress kind of off to the close to the middle of the lake, not exactly in the middle, just right over there. And over here is the Federation fleet. They've got their carrier, their frigates, and lots of fighters. So we're going to go ahead and begin the battle and see how they fare against this battle here. And of course, if a ship is shot down and lands in the water, it's not entirely over for them because, well, if they can float, then they're still in the fight. There's already some devastating hits going in. All these fighters and the frigate are moving in. In the meantime, the carrier is kind of just keeping its distance, trying to be a little bit cautious there. That might end pretty badly for them if they aren't careful, so they're going to need to move in soon. There's already shots going in after these fighters, and the frigate. There's missiles going in as well. It's going to just tear them apart. But they're definitely trying. All those missiles are going to be a great distraction. The carrier is already starting to move in as well. You can see the ships are definitely starting to take advantage of the water here. And the carrier is already starting to move in, doing lots of damage with its lasers. I don't think there's any offensive weapons left on this fortress here, which means it's pretty much at the mercy of all these ships. Now we can take a look at the ships that are left. So the carrier's still alive, the frigate's still alive, and there's still a pretty good amount of fighters around here, so this fleet pretty much hasn't taken any major losses, if any at all. In the meantime, the fortress here is pretty much done for. So we're going to go ahead and return back to the board, and we're going to mark this fortress world as claimed. Alright, and with that, the Federation has claimed yet another planet. Actually, the Federation is getting very close to the Pirate Empire in terms of the amount of worlds they have claimed. But of course, the Pirate Empire is a lot more cohesive. In the meantime, the Federation is very spread out. As you can see, they do have a pretty good advantage here. They've kind of just made all these other factions very disorganized, and they're kind of panicking, trying to figure out what to do. So now, moving on, the Federation has already done their 3 turns, so now we're moving over to Delta Shipyards here, and Delta Shipyards really did not like that the Federation has cut their empire in half. So they're basically going to send one of their fleets from the Pertan Valley all the way up here to the Alien Mountains to take on this fleet. It's going to be an interesting battle, because if they can successfully take over that, if they can defeat that fleet, then they'll have to take on the fortress, and if they successfully take that on, then they'll be able to reconnect with the rest of their faction out there, reestablishing some supply lines, which is pretty important considering the threat over here. Anyways, we're going to see how this battle turns out. Well, we're here in the Alien Mountains. It's a very interesting landscape, and well, there's going to be a massive battle here. Right, on this side we can see the Federation fleets with their battleship and 2 corvettes, fully operational and ready for battle. And over here we have the Delta Shipyard Strike Group, ready to attack. So you can see there's quite a few corvettes here and a small group of fighters to help out. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off, going straight into battle here, and we're going to see how well they do. So immediately they're going to start jumping in. Small amount of damage there, but that's fine. It's a lot of small ships going into combat out there. There's a lot of cannon fire. And over here you can see the corvettes are now starting to charge in, doing as much damage as they can. You can see there's some fighters being completely torn apart by the weapons over here, as all of these ships are just colliding in battle here. They're actually starting to exit the planet's gravity a little bit here, but they will return. There's a lot of missiles being fired here. It's not good for any of these ships. You can see fighters are doing whatever they can, but they are being easily torn apart. Because these ships are now starting to fall down. They're doing whatever damage they can. Oh, it's just raining ships out here. That battleship is wreaking havoc on all of these corvettes. If these corvettes don't do something soon, they're pretty much just gonna meet their end, just like this. Seems like some of these other ships are getting very close to the ground here, which is not good for them. There's a lot of crashing ships here. Seems like this battleship might join them in a little bit, if it doesn't stop itself. Oh, it has successfully stopped itself. In the meantime, this Iron Wing is basically just slammed into the ground over here, but it's still doing relatively okay. it seems that the entire Delta Shipyard's fleet has fallen. And, well, the Federation's fleet is still active and standing. Yep, still fully operational here. There are very few, if any, ships that are even still somewhat alive, mostly crashing to the ground here. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and return back to the board and update it. Alright, and so with that failed assault by Delta Shipyards decided to focus on other things. They've taken their fleet from the Pertam Valley all the way up to the Caldera Hills, taking it over for themselves, and they've decided to build yet another fleet on the Pertam Valley to help with defense on that side. So, you know, if they can't take out the fleet, they might as well try going around them. And now we're moving on to the Pirate Empire themselves to see what they're up to. And, well, things are about to begin for the Pirate Empire's great expansion here. They've moved their super carrier fleet from their former homeworld, the Moon Craters, all the way over here to the alien snowfields, which means it is pretty much right next to Delta Shipyards over here, and they're preparing for a massive assault there. And in the meantime, if they decide that with their second action, they're going to begin attacking the New Galactic Alliance. They're going to continue expanding upwards, and as you can see here, they're going to be taking on a fortress world with one of their smaller and very weak fleets. Just a single frigate and a single fighter versus a fortress on KL-136. So we're going to see how that goes. So now we're on the surface of this planet. Here we can see the fortress that the Alliance is using. And all the way over here in the distance, you can see the attacking fleet. It's not much, but yeah, it might be able to do something. We're going to declare war here, and we're going to see how this goes with the just one frigate and one fighter combo. To be honest, I don't expect them to take over this fortress, but who knows? Maybe it might just be enough. That frigate is being very cautious in the distance, and that fighter is just jumping in right away. Seems like most of the weapons are going after the fighter just immediately, and that frigate is taking its time preparing to move forward. Just going to zoom in on this fighter and see how its approach will be. Now this fighter needs to be very careful because as pretty much at this point is going to start taking shots from all those turrets, those autocannons, which are going to do quite a bit of damage if it's not cautious on its approach. And it will definitely derail it. Luckily, the fighter uses homing missiles, which will do a lot of damage, except it's taking hits from its own. Ouch. Yeah, those missiles are very lethal. There is basically nothing left of that fighter. Let's go and see if we can find that frigate. The frigate should be moving in around here somewhere. I could just find it here. Oh, it's actually decided to go up. Interesting. Now it is just about gone in range of those turrets. The nose will be able to handle the turrets, but those... Yeah, that main gun is going to do a lot of damage, so it needs to be very careful on its approach here and try to take that out as best it can. definitely starting to be fractures in the hull there. The entire nose is actually starting to come off here. This armor is definitely failing. It is getting close enough to do some more damage. Doing some maneuvers here to try to get as many shots as you can. All these auto cannons are slowly chewing through that armor. He's doing as much damage as he can. He did manage to get close enough to disable the main gun, which is perfect. But he's still taking a lot of hits. If he's not careful, he's going to start losing a lot more than he's able to take. The remaining turrets are just doing whatever they can here. You can see they've pretty much just torn off a chunk of the ship. I mean, that ship still has a functioning turret. Yeah, that chunk's still working, which is a bit of a surprise. Well, it seems that all the turrets here have completely been disabled. So with that, it seems the fortress has been fully claimed. The Pirate Empire wins with just a single frigate left. Alright, so now we're back to the board, and before we get on to whatever's going on over here, we're going to talk about the Pirate Empire down here. So, the Pirate Empire has already used their 3 actions. Their first action was, of course, moving their supercarrier closer. The second action was, of course, taking over that fortress over there, which is actually a surprise that they won. I'm guessing part of the fact that they won was because of the low gravity, so it does help their frigate out a lot. You know, they have actually taken over most of this quadrant here, so they almost have full control of 3 quadrants, which is very impressive. Now, their third action was actually just to move their other fleet that was on the moon over here. So there's 2 very powerful fleets over in the alien snowfield, and they're probably going to use both of those fleets just to expand and take over Delta shipyards over here. Unless Delta shipyards can find a way to, you know, repel those fleets, they're pretty much, yeah, they're screwed. So we're going to go on up here and look at what the Great Red Sun Empire is going to do with their 5 planets that are left. So, yeah, the Great Red Sun Empire is very much in a very big predicament here. What they're deciding to do is to send their fleet that was stationed over here in the Alien Lake to actually just go all the way down here to the Reach Ocean, and they want to take out some ships in this fleet here, hopefully to weaken it, but they're going to send their frigate and a handful of fighters to take over that. They're especially interested in this world because of the fact that it's a shipyard, and you know, they don't want a shipyard right in the border of their world, so they're going to go ahead and deal with that as quickly as they can. Alright, here we are over the ocean, and we're going to go in and see a pretty interesting battle that's going to take place here. So over here we have the Federation's fleet with a Duke carrier, an Aero frigate, and of course some additional fighters. And if we go all the way over here, we can see the Great Red Sun Empire's fleet with their Miran frigate and a handful of fighters to help it. So we're gonna go ahead and declare war here to begin the battle. Honestly, I don't think the Great Red Sun Empire is going to stand too much of a chance here, but their frigate might be able to take down some of those fighters, or even the enemy frigate there. You can see they're immediately starting to kick into action here to take out those missiles. Some of those missiles did hit, which is unfortunate, but they'll do what they can. This fighter's already starting to take some hits, so I have to be really careful here. Those railgun shots are very lethal. Ouch. These fighters are taking way more damage than they bargained for. Now I see all these fighters are going after the frigate. Doing that, it seems the carrier actually did a devastating long-range attack against the frigate. It just did an EMP attack, and that frigate is going down very quickly. You can see it got its power back on, but has collided with the water a little bit there. He needs to get out of that water, or else most of his weapons are not going to be working. Oh, he is dangerously close to the ground down there. It's going to take him a moment to resurface. See, all these fighters are going in, trying to do as much damage as they can. The water is stopping some of the hits, but there's still plenty going through. Seems like there was a major hit to the hydrogen systems here, so he's going to need to find a way to get those back on if he wants to continue flying here, or floating. Floating isn't too much of an option as his hull has been pierced, meaning that he's no longer as buoyant as he used to be. Carrier's just dipping into the water here, trying to get some up close damage. I think this frigate is just about done for. I mean, most of it's, I don't even think it has any hydrogen left. I can still go to any thrusters. No, it has some. It just appears to be a little bit glitched. Ouch. So that frigate is very much just sunk. It's not coming out of the water anytime soon. So that's pretty unfortunate for our ships out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at how many ships are even left. I mean, as you can see, the carrier is still active and the frigate is still active up above. There's still a pretty decent amount of fighters out there doing whatever damage they can. Yeah, that frigate is very much sunk. It is not coming back up. So that's the end of this battle. Okay, so that was a Federation victory. That's really bad news for the Great Redstone Empire. They've lost one of their more powerful fleets, and right now their shipyard is in a very desperate situation as they're surrounded on all three sides by Federation territory. Now, in an act of desperation, they're going to be sending one of their fleets over here to destroy an ice blast, hopefully break through this blockade. If they can just take down this fortress world, then they'll have a chance of at least escaping from this slaughter, but at the moment it's not looking very good for them. So, yeah, over here on the Trident Ice Flats, we're just going to hop into that battle. Alright, now we're back to Trident on the ice fields, and we're going to see if they can finally break through this blockade. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but we're going to try and see if they have the capability to do so with this fleet. All these ships are just jumping into battle, and it seems like this time the Corvette is jumping in first. Although the Corvette is going to be going up, so that way the fighters could take some of the fire, giving the Corvette a small advantage. Now, last time that the Great Redstone Empire tried this, their Corvette didn't do particularly well, and one of the reasons for that was because, well, their ship collided with the ground, which is not very good for them. But they have successfully done some other things. They nearly won, and considering the way that their Corvette flew around, took out some of the turrets. And fighters also worked as an excellent distraction, but it only works so well. I'm gonna go ahead and, ooh, those missiles are gonna be a problem. Of course, that Corvette is spewing missiles constantly, trying to do as much damage as it can. And now all those fighters are going to move in and try to do as much damage as they can. Their goal is to aim for the main cannon or any kind of other systems. Of course, that Corvette, they're just going to jump in, just like so. At first, this does not seem like a good thing, but it's actually a really good thing for the Corvette, as it gives them a huge advantage here. You can see those fighters are jumping in and doing more damage. He's using his hull as a weapon to just fire at everything. You can see all these other weapons that the fighters are using, just tearing into this fortress as best they can. Well, those missiles are going to do a lot of damage if they don't take that out soon. So the Corvette is taking damage, but it is doing damage, which is what we want it to do. Definitely dealing some damage, taking out more weapons from time to time. That main gun there is still doing whatever it can to take out those fighters. Okay, another weapon over here basically disabled. There's still more cannons on this side doing damage, which is not really... Oh, excellent. The fighters are doing their job here, doing plenty of damage everywhere that they can. You just need to take out these turrets over here, and then it's a victory. Corvette is in motion. This could end really well or really badly for that Corvette. Definitely lining up those shots. Oh, this could be really bad for him, but there we go. He's hit the ground, but he's not out yet. There are still fighters doing everything they can. It's just a single turret left. It's just that one turret. That Corvette's still not giving up yet. There are still fighters out there doing everything they can. Those cannons are doing everything they can. Just a race against time here. I think that's it. It appears there are no more functional turrets on this fortress. So that is a victory for the Great Red Sun Empire, finally. So they've broken through the blockade and it seems there's only just a single fighter still operational. And now Corvette's still trying, but it isn't exactly flying, so it is technically downed. But yes, that one fighter is all that was needed. That's pretty lucky. Alright, so that was just the miracle that the Great Red Sun Empire needed. They successfully escaped from their, from being surrounded here. They've broken through the blockade and they've successfully gained another colony world, which gives them life-saving income that they need in order to expand. And also this gives them the chance to actually, you know, move around and hopefully find a way to survive. I mean, the chances of them actually surviving from this point on is very slim, but they actually have a chance now. They can actually find a way to kind of just expand and try to avoid either factions. That is, if the other factions don't decide to immediately take this opportunity to kind of just move in and just finish them off here, but that's for next time. Let's just zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture here, and let's just look at how each of the factions are doing. Well, the New Galactic Alliance is not doing particularly well here. They've been cut in half yet again. They've got, they're very much spread out. They're trying to take over more land in the middle, but their original lands on the right are currently struggling with the Pirate Empire moving in. The Federation is actually in a weird position here. They're fractured all over the place. But they're kind of using that to their advantage to really just cause as much chaos as possible, and they've actually got a pretty wide range of influence here. They have a presence in pretty much almost every single, actually they have a presence in almost half the map here. They have at least one planet in like 5 different quadrants, so that makes them pretty powerful. And yeah, they are struggling against the New Galactic Alliance from time to time, but they're doing very good at just, you know, trying to take out the Great Red Sun Empire. Unfortunately, the Empire might escape from their trap, but they're doing fairly well. I mean, the Federation could probably set up a new base of operations in the top left if they really want to play this smart. Delta shipyards, on the other hand, they're pushed up against a corner. They only really have a true presence of like 2 quadrants on the map, and even then, they are in a really bad spot because the Pirate Empire has their most powerful fleets just at the border of their empire. And well, those fleets are going to go in and just wipe out the rest of Delta shipyards if they don't come up with something quickly. The Federation is causing a lot of trouble over there. So, the Delta shipyards needs to figure out something to do with that. There needs to be some kind of miracle there, or else they're going to quickly get mauled by all these other factions. Pirate Empire, as usual, they're doing exceptionally well. At this point, they might just take over half the map just on their own. I mean, they can easily wipe out Delta shipyards. They're moving upwards, and they're just cleaning out the Federation and the New Galactic Alliance. They're just pushing upwards. In fact, they might actually push up far enough that they might reach the top of the map, which is kind of scary. Their faction has grown a lot. And of course, we already talked about the Great Red Sun Empire a little bit. They're not doing too well. Their 4 planets on the top left are pretty much just done for at this point. I mean, the Federation's going to move in and take those, or Delta shipyards might move in and take them. And, well, there is a small chance that they can survive, because they did manage to break that blockade in the middle, where the Federation has surrounded them on all sides. They managed to break through one of those fortresses, allowing them just the chance they need to be able to expand. If they can take this chance, they might cause a lot of damage to the Alliance and to the Federation and be able to set up a new foothold, kind of just in the top, middle, or right of the map, away from where most of the Federation forces are. Although I will note that there's quite a few Federation forces over in the top right as well, or just the top of the map in general. So more likely than not, they'll have to probably figure out a way to get around all these other factions somehow. Either that, or they're going to need some help with their shipyard there if it isn't taken over by then. Yeah, that's about it. It's kind of interesting seeing how the factions are changing over time here. We do have a link to a Discord server down in the description if you guys would like to join that. That is for Season 2 of the Drone Wars, which is still a work in progress. We've made a lot of progress in preparing for that. So as soon as Season 1 is completely done, we're actually going to begin Season 2 immediately. And unlike Season 1, well, Season 2, we're going to be bringing in players just like you guys. If you guys want to submit your own fleet ships, and you'll be able to actually participate in managing your fleets and trying to take over an entire board. That is actually almost, actually now I think about it, it's like maybe more than twice the size of this board. So there's plenty of space, tons of planets. I believe there's like 125 different locations on the new board as compared to this board in Season 1. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to join the Discord server. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day and take care.